Hello and welcome. If you are over the age of 50 and have been told that sugar is your enemy, I want to share something that may surprise you. What if I told you that just 2 tablespoons of honey each day could help you lose one of the most dangerous types of fat in your body? I am talking about visceral fat. That is the kind of fat that wraps around your internal organs, including your heart, your liver, and your kidneys. It is the fat most closely linked to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and even memory loss. And here's the twist. This kind of fat is often hardest to lose, especially as we get older. But what if nature had already given us a tool to fight it? A tool that is natural, affordable, delicious, and even comforting? That is what we are going to talk about today. Honey. Yes, honey. Not as a sweet treat, but as a potential ally in your journey to better health. In this episode of Elders Insight, we are going to explore how honey, despite being a form of sugar, may actually help reduce belly fat, lower stress, support better sleep, and improve how your body uses energy. We are going to walk through the science, real-life examples, and simple ways you can try this yourself. So settle in, take a breath, and let's dive into what makes honey so special and why it might be the sweet shift your body has been waiting for. Why belly fat gets worse with age. You know, it is one thing to gain a little weight over the years. That is natural. Our bodies change, our hormones shift, and let's be honest, life just happens. But there is a specific kind of weight gain that most people never talk about. It is not just the fat you can pinch on the outside. It is the fat hiding deep inside your belly, surrounding your organs. This is called visceral fat, spelled V-I-S-C-E-R-A-L. It is not visible from the outside, but it is one of the most dangerous types of fat for your health. As we get older, especially after the age of 50, our bodies become more sensitive to stress. And when we are under stress, whether it is emotional, physical, or even poor sleep, our body releases more of a hormone called cortisol. Now, here is where it gets serious. Visceral fat has more cortisol receptors than any other fat in the body. That means every time cortisol rises, your body is more likely to store fat deep in the belly, around your organs, not just under the skin. Studies have shown that high levels of visceral fat are linked to higher risks of heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and even cognitive decline, including conditions like Alzheimer's disease. So this is not just about how we look. It is about how long and how well we live. And I want you to know, this is not about shame or blame. This is about understanding what is going on inside your body so you can start taking gentle, effective steps to support it. Now, the good news is that we are not helpless. There are natural science-backed ways to reduce visceral fat, and one of them might just be sitting quietly in your pantry waiting to help. Let's talk about that next. What the science says. Honey versus sugar. Let me take you back to a fascinating study that really caught my attention, not because it was flashy, but because it was simple, clear, and deeply relevant for anyone over 50 who's trying to make better choices for their health. Researchers from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, one of the most trusted nutrition journals in the world, set up a study that compared 2 common sources of sweetness, regular table sugar and natural honey. They took 2 groups of people. Each group was given exactly 450 calories worth of carbohydrates. That's about the amount you might get in a bowl of cereal with milk and a banana. But here's the interesting part. One group got those carbs from sucrose, which is the scientific name for white table sugar. The other group got the same calories and the same amount of carbohydrates, but from natural honey. So the calories were equal. The sugar content was the same. Even the glycemic index, a measure of how quickly food raises blood sugar, was controlled to match. This was not about eating less. It was about eating smarter. And here's what they found. The people in the honey group experienced a significantly lower rise in blood sugar levels after eating compared to the group that consumed regular sugar. Their glucose levels didn't spike as sharply, and they came back down more gently. That's a big deal, especially for older adults, because when your blood sugar goes up quickly, your body releases a surge of insulin. And when that happens over and over, it leads to insulin resistance, the first step toward type 2 diabetes. But honey didn't just keep their blood sugar steadier. It also changed how they felt after eating. In the honey group, levels of a hormone called ghrelin, that's the one that makes you feel hungry, stayed lower for longer. At the same time, levels of a hormone called PYY, which signals your brain that you're full and satisfied, went up. So what does that mean for you and me? It means that honey helped people feel fuller, longer. They weren't just eating less because someone told them to. Their bodies naturally felt more satisfied. And because they weren't chasing hunger or dealing with blood sugar crashes, they didn't need to snack or overeat later. Even more interesting, long-term studies have shown that honey may help stimulate fat oxidation, which is just a scientific way of saying it helps your body switch from storing fat to burning fat for energy. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, but honey is still sugar, isn't it? Yes, it is. But it's also much more than that. Unlike refined sugar, which is stripped down and processed, raw honey contains over 100 active compounds, including enzymes, vitamins, minerals, and powerful antioxidants. These compounds help buffer the sugar in honey, making it easier for your body to process and respond in a healthier way. Think of it this way. Sugar is like slamming on the gas pedal. Honey is like driving with cruise control. Smoother, steadier, and more in tune with your body. And for those of us over 50, whose metabolism is slowing down, who may be managing blood pressure, cholesterol, or early signs of diabetes, these little differences can have a big impact over time. So no, honey is not a magic pill, but it is a natural tool backed by real science that can help you work with your body, not against it. And that's the kind of wisdom we love sharing here on Elders Insight. 1. Honey, stress, and cortisol. The hidden link to belly fat. Let's talk about something that affects all of us. Stress. Now, stress used to be something we thought of as emotional. Deadlines, family worries, or sleepless nights. But as we've learned over the years, stress is not just in your head. It's in your hormones, and it shows up in your body, often right around your middle. And the hormone that plays the biggest role in that, it's called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's built-in alarm system. It helps you respond to danger, keeps your energy levels stable, and even helps regulate inflammation. In small amounts, cortisol is helpful. But when it stays high, day after day, year after year, it can cause serious problems. One of the most common is an increase in visceral fat, the deep belly fat that surrounds your organs. Here's why. Visceral fat has up to 4 times more cortisol receptors than other types of fat. That means when your cortisol levels go up, your body tends to store fat, especially around the abdomen. So when you're under chronic stress, even if it's low-grade stress from poor sleep, blood sugar fluctuations, or inflammation, your body is more likely to hold on to fat and hold it right where you don't want it, your belly. Now, here's where honey comes in. In a study published in the journal Biochemical Research International, scientists found that when honey was introduced into the diet, it helped to blunt the cortisol response. In other words, people who consumed honey had a lower rise in cortisol when exposed to stress. This is huge because it means honey may help protect your body from the stress-related signals that lead to belly fat storage. But that's just the beginning. Honey also helps reduce something called oxidative stress. That's the kind of damage that happens inside your cells from things like pollution, processed food, and even aging itself. Oxidative stress raises inflammation and, you guessed it, triggers more cortisol. Honey is rich in natural compounds called flavonoids and phenolic acids, which are powerful antioxidants. These compounds help neutralize oxidative stress, bringing your body back into a calmer, healthier state. When oxidative stress goes down, cortisol can go down too. But there's more. Honey may also help support something called the HPA axis, which stands for the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. That's a fancy term for the communication system between your brain and your adrenal glands, the part of your body that controls how much cortisol is released. When your HPA axis is balanced, your body knows when to turn cortisol on and, just as importantly, when to turn it off. Honey seems to support this delicate balance. It does not suppress your natural stress response. It regulates it. That's important, especially as we age, because our bodies become more sensitive to stress hormones over time. So to put it simply, honey doesn't just help you handle sugar better. It may also help you handle life better by calming your system from the inside out. Think of it like this. Every spoonful of natural honey is more than a sweet treat. It's a signal to your body that it's okay to slow down, to shift out of stress mode, and to begin the healing process. And that shift, from tension to ease, is where real fat loss and long-term health begin. In the next section, we're going to talk about another hidden benefit of honey that's often overlooked, how it supports your gut, your liver, and your metabolism all at once. Stay with me because it's all connected, and it all starts to make sense the deeper we go. 2. Gut health, liver fat, and the metabolic magic of honey. By now, we've seen how honey can help regulate blood sugar, reduce cortisol, and gently support fat burning. But here's something that might surprise you even more. Honey's benefits go even deeper. Literally. Because what's happening in your gut and liver plays a huge role in how your body stores fat, burns energy, and handles stress. And honey, it turns out, touches both of those systems in powerful ways. Let's start with the gut. Your gut isn't just where food gets digested. It's also home to something called your microbiome. Trillions of tiny bacteria that live inside your digestive system. When your gut is healthy, those bacteria help you absorb nutrients, balance inflammation, regulate hormones, and even support your mood. But when the gut is inflamed, and that happens more easily as we get older, everything gets thrown off. Inflammation increases, metabolism slows down, your body becomes more insulin resistant, and yes, visceral fat increases. Now here's the good news. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition found that honey contains non-digestible compounds that act like food for the good bacteria in your gut. These are called prebiotics. When your good bacteria are fed properly, they thrive. And when they thrive, your gut becomes less inflamed, your digestion improves, and your body becomes more efficient at burning fat and using energy. But that's not all. Another study published in the Indian Journal of Experimental Biology looked at how honey affects liver fat. In this study, animals were given either a low or high concentration of honey in their diet over a period of 90 days. The result? Both groups experienced a reduction in overall body fat, but most importantly, a significant decrease in liver fat and visceral fat. That's important because excess liver fat is closely tied to insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. And unfortunately, fatty liver often goes undetected until it causes serious damage. Honey's natural antioxidants, especially flavonoids, appear to help protect the liver by reducing oxidative stress and improving the way your body handles glucose and fat. Instead of storing excess energy in your liver, your body becomes more efficient at burning it for fuel. In simpler terms, honey helps your gut and liver work with you, not against you. And here's something even more interesting. It's all connected. The gut communicates directly with the brain and the rest of the body through something called the gut-brain axis. That's a real, scientifically studied system that helps regulate hormones like cortisol and insulin. When your gut is inflamed, that system gets disrupted. But when your gut is supported by foods like honey, the entire communication line becomes clearer, calmer, and more responsive. What this means is honey isn't just helping you burn fat, it's helping your body reset its rhythm. It supports the digestive system, reduces liver strain, improves metabolic balance, and strengthens your internal stress response. That's why it's so much more than just a sweetener. When you choose real honey, you're choosing to give your body nourishment, not just calories. You're choosing a food that works with your biology, that supports healing, not just hunger. And as we continue on this journey, you'll see how honey can also play a role in something just as important as metabolism, restorative sleep, which we'll explore in the next section. Because when we sleep better, we heal better. And yes, honey has something to say about that too. 3. Honey and sleep. How rest heals the body and melts fat. Let's take a moment to talk about something that most people overlook when it comes to fat loss and healing, and that is sleep. Now, if you are like many people over 50, getting a full night's rest is not as easy as it used to be. You might find yourself waking up at 2 in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. Or maybe you sleep through the night, but wake up feeling tired, foggy, or unrefreshed. And yet, sleep is one of the most powerful tools your body has to repair, reset, and burn fat, especially visceral fat. Here's why. During sleep, your body goes into what scientists call a rest and repair state. Your cortisol levels, that stress hormone we talked about earlier, are supposed to drop. Your insulin sensitivity improves. Your body becomes more efficient at using fat for fuel. In fact, most of your natural fat burning happens at night while you are resting. But if you are not sleeping well, none of that can happen. Poor sleep keeps your cortisol levels high, increases your hunger hormones, and slows down metabolism. Over time, this leads to more fat storage, particularly around the belly. Now, here's where honey can help. In a surprisingly gentle and natural way. Honey contains a unique combination of glucose and natural compounds that support your liver and your brain during sleep. When you eat a small amount of honey before bed, just 1 teaspoon is enough. It helps fuel your liver through the night. That means your body does not have to break down muscle or raise cortisol to get energy while you sleep. Science insight. The brain needs a steady supply of energy during the night. Without it, cortisol rises to mobilize stored fuel, usually from muscle. But when you take honey before bed, you're providing a slow, steady release of glucose that supports the brain and keeps cortisol levels low. Even more, honey has been shown to increase melatonin production indirectly by promoting the release of tryptophan. That's the amino acid that helps you feel calm, relaxed, and ready for deep sleep. And remember, the deeper your sleep, the more growth hormone your body produces. Growth hormone plays a major role in fat metabolism, especially at night. So again, by improving your sleep, honey is helping your body do what it already knows how to do: burn fat gently and naturally. Some people even report fewer nighttime wake-ups and more restful mornings after adding a teaspoon of honey to warm herbal tea in the evening. It's not a sedative. It's nourishment. It helps your body feel safe enough to relax, let go, and heal. And let me just say this from the heart. Healing doesn't have to be harsh. It doesn't have to mean starvation or strict diets. Sometimes healing comes through small, sweet acts of care, like a spoonful of raw honey before bed, like trusting that your body still knows what it's doing, like choosing food that supports you, not punishes you. So as we wrap up today's episode, I want to invite you to see honey not as a guilty pleasure, but as a partner on your health journey. A gentle tool, a simple choice, one that's been used for centuries and is finally getting the scientific recognition it deserves. And in just a moment, we'll close with a personal message and a few simple tips you can start tonight. How to use honey safely and effectively after age 50. Now that we've explored the science, the benefits, and even how honey can help you sleep better at night, let's talk about something just as important: how to actually use honey in your daily life in a way that is safe, smart, and sustainable. Because let's be honest, with all the information out there, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. One article says honey is healthy. Another says to avoid all sugar. And if you're over 50 or managing a condition like high blood sugar or heart disease, it gets even more confusing. So here's what you really need to know, broken down clearly and gently. First of all, yes, honey is still a form of sugar, but it's not the same as refined white sugar. The difference is in how it behaves inside your body. Because of its antioxidant content, its slower absorption rate, and the way it supports liver function and gut health, honey can be a much friendlier option, especially when used intentionally. So, how much honey should you use? Most of the research we've discussed, as well as personal experiences from people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, suggests that 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey per day is a safe and effective amount for most adults in good health. That's about 15 to 30 grams. But the key is how and when you use it. Here are a few gentle ways to include honey in your routine. 1. Morning boost. Start your day with warm water and a teaspoon of raw honey. Add a little lemon if you like. This helps wake up your digestion, gently supports your liver, and gives you natural energy without the crash you'd get from coffee and sugar. 2. Midday support. If you tend to get afternoon cravings, try a small spoonful of honey paired with a protein-rich snack, like plain Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, or a few almonds. This can stabilize your blood sugar and reduce hunger later in the evening. 3. Evening calm. As we mentioned earlier, a teaspoon of honey about 30 minutes before bed, either by itself or in warm herbal tea, can help support deep restorative sleep. 4. Cooking tip. If you like to cook or bake, try replacing white sugar with honey in recipes, but reduce the amount slightly since honey is naturally sweeter. And remember to lower your baking temperature a bit as honey browns faster than sugar. Now, let's talk briefly about quality. Not all honey is the same. When possible, choose raw honey. That means it has not been overly heated or processed, so it retains all of its enzymes and antioxidants. Local honey is also a great option, especially for supporting seasonal allergies. And Manuka honey, originally from New Zealand, is especially rich in medicinal compounds, though it can be more expensive. And finally, a gentle word of caution. If you have type 2 diabetes, are insulin resistant, or are taking medication that affects your blood sugar, please talk to your doctor before making changes to your diet, even natural ones. While many people with blood sugar concerns have found that honey works better than refined sugar, it is still important to make these decisions with care and professional guidance. The goal is not perfection. The goal is balance, giving your body what it needs at the right time in the right form. So, no need to fear honey. Use it wisely, Listen to your body and let it be a source of nourishment, not guilt. In just a moment, I'll share a closing message to wrap up today's journey, a reminder that healing, especially in this stage of life, is always possible. A message from the heart and a new beginning. If you've stayed with me through this conversation, first of all, thank you. I know your time is precious. And I hope that what you heard today didn't just give you information, but gave you something deeper. Maybe a little peace of mind, maybe a new perspective, maybe even hope. Because the truth is, no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're trying to lose weight, lower your blood sugar, sleep better, or simply feel more like yourself again, it is not too late. I want to say that again. Clearly and with love, it is not too late. Your body is still listening, your cells are still healing, and your heart, your spirit, they still have so much life ahead. So maybe it starts with something small, a spoonful of raw honey in the morning, a moment of stillness before bed, a deeper breath, a kinder word to yourself. These are not just habits, these are acts of care, acts of self-respect, and they matter. More than any number on a scale or lab test ever could. I also want you to remember, you are not alone in this. Here at Elders Insight, we are building more than a channel. We are building a community, a safe place to learn, grow, and feel supported, especially in a world that often overlooks older voices. But not here. Here, you matter. So if today's episode helped you, even just a little, I'd love for you to take one small action to keep the conversation going. Hit the like button. Not for me, but so more people like you can find this video. If you haven't already, press the subscribe button. Because we've got more stories, more science, and more soul-nourishing content coming your way every single week. And if you feel comfortable, leave a comment below. Let me know what part of today's message resonated with you. Or just say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Share one small change you're thinking of trying. You never know. Your words might be the exact encouragement someone else needed today. And with that, I'll let you go. But not without this reminder. You are wise. You are worthy. And you are still wonderfully alive, with so much yet to experience, to enjoy, and to give. Until next time, take care of your beautiful self. And remember, sometimes healing starts with something as simple as honey.